BioProtocol has launched AUBRAI, a longevity AI agent which is up well over 100x from the launch price. This is absolutely historic for BioProtocol and the ecosystem, as it is a really monumental AI agent launch that has gotten a lot of people excited about bio once again. However, this, for those of you who are interested, is not the first BioProtocol ecosystem AI agent. I'm not going to get into that in today's video though, because that is a mouthful for another video. Today we're just going to go over AUBRAI and what I think is the need to know and kind of give an update after 1 week of being live. So for anyone who doesn't know, this is an AI agent from BioProtocol, which is the first AI agent that was launched on BioV2, which had the entire funding round done on BioV2 with the BioXP. This is an AI agent which has been trained on Aubrey de Grey, a very famous longevity scientist who has received funding from the likes of Vitalik, and I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of his work if you are interested in longevity at all. This AI agent is trained on most of his notes and a lot of his studies and a lot of his work in order to continue on and create a new type of flywheel for scientific publishing and for scientific research and for funding and a lot, which is why I'm making a dedicated video to it so that everyone can understand. So the pre-sale for AUBRAI was at a whopping $290,000 FDV, I believe. Yep, $269,000 FDV, and it is currently sitting all the way up at $31 million in FDV. Now, obviously, that is a wild success, especially in the space of decentralized science. Not many projects are up in the tens of millions of dollars in market cap, but this one is one of the ones that the market has deemed worthy. So let's go ahead and go through kind of the bio monthly update here where they're recapping AUBRAI. Then I'm going to take you through the website of AUBRAI. Then we're going to go through a little bit of the white paper, but not really. We're going to go through the full flywheel and take a look at what the AI agent has actually been posting on ResearchHub in order to get funding. I'm going to show you the process that the AI agent takes in order to do that. And of course, we'll talk about a little bit of some insider information that we found out from our good friend Simon. As always, the only thing I ask from you guys is a like on the video. All right, guys. It's been a minute since I've made some good content because I was off taking a couple weeks hiatus where I was kind of resetting, got engaged, so pretty excited. I'm happy to be back though. I am ready to go. So Bio Monthly, AUBRAI initialized DeSci equity biomarkets and hypothesis to IP flywheel. So we're gonna skip over the TLDR and get right into the meat of it. AUBRAI initialized the first bioagent launch. The first bioagent launch, AUBRAI, was a big success. The ignition sale was 14.6x oversubscribed with 2,000 participants, meaning they only wanted to raise $77,000 and they raised significantly more than that, so they got everyone in for smaller than what they were willing to sell. Does that make sense? So if I was willing to put $1,000 into it, I only got in for $100 because they got oversubscribed by 14.6x. Since launch, AUBRAI has generated over $100,000 in trading fee income, 834 hypotheses, 886 POIs, and 2 IP NFTs. You can track hypothesis generation, knowledge ingested, IP NFTs, fees, and other agent analytics on the AUBRAI dashboard, which is just the AUBRAI website. And those numbers are even higher right now. So 865 hypotheses generated, and we have almost 4,000 scientific publications ingested. They have over 280,000 graph entities ingested. They have POIs minted, which is Molecule's new way of marking when someone has an idea. It's a proof of invention. And AUBRAI, the AI agent, has 886 of these POIs minted, which is crazy. And of those, 2 of them have turned into IP NFTs, which we'll get into in a minute because I did a little bit of deep diving to figure out where those are because you guys know I love my IP NFTs, but I couldn't find any liquid ones, and I had a hard time actually finding the ones that he minted, at least any proof of it. But we'll get into that. Don't worry. We'll get into that. Trust me. All right. Okay. And he's posted 1,500 times on X. And so this is a cool little dashboard you can see. You can see funded 540,000, a treasury of 4.7 million, which is nuts, and 111,000 fees, despite the agent itself posting right here that it has crossed over $120,000 in research funding, which gets me into the first point of the video. The flywheel associated with what's going on here. There's two things here that are really cooking at the basics of how I see the value in this AI agent. The first one is, of course, being able to tag the AI agent on X and generate hypotheses with it to further explore research, right? And that's the main one that I think everyone is focused on and where I think a lot of people can easily see the value. But the other one that I think a lot of people are overlooking or at least skipping out on is the fees that are being generated from this AI agent, from allowing market participants to speculate on the success or failure of this experiment. Yes, the whole thing is an experiment. By allowing market participants to assign value to this experiment, we get to I'm not doing any of it, but they get to harvest some of the transaction fees, a little percent of the volume of market participation, in order to fund the actual research, the underlying research. Plus, with the ResearchHub participation here, with the AI agent posting on ResearchHub and asking for RSC in order to fund different research initiatives, you get to see further funding raises. You get to see further generation of equity or liquidity, right? And so I think that's the part that I don't think a lot of people are paying a lot of attention to, that is actually skyrocketing in its value, right? The AUBRAI's value. I don't know how to say it. It's one of my little side note, one of my little pet peeves with the whole AI excitement that's going on right now, is that everyone's naming their thing with just AI instead of A, and then I can't pronounce it, and I'm like, I'm supposed to make a video on this. Do I call it Aubrey? Do I call it AUBRAI? I don't know, but I guess it's a small fry at the end of it all. Anyway, back into it. What comes next? Users are prompting Aubrey to generate compelling longevity hypotheses, which are being minted on chain using Molecule's proof of invention. We just talked about that. The best hypotheses are being posted to ResearchHub, where RSC from the Treasury can be used to fund them, strengthening our cooperation with ResearchHub. We'll soon see the first IP tokens based on Aubrey's generated hypothesis, demonstrating BioAgent's hypothesis to IP flywheel. So that's the flywheel that I think everyone's focused on, and it is a really powerful one. I got on my live stream today, got super into it, super excited to talk about it, because the idea that somebody can prompt an AI agent on X to come up with a hypothesis or an idea for something like longevity and compounds to test. They can go back and forth with the AI agent, and then that conversation gets logged on chain as the proof of invention or the origin of that hypothesis. And then from there, you can go see if the market's willing to fund that research through either a DAO mechanism or through donations on ResearchHub, and then be able to conduct that research through open science, decentralized science mechanisms, and then continue forward to create a tokenized intellectual property so people can continue to trade the IP or the goodwill that was generated after that research was conducted, and then so on and so forth till one day we have an AI agent that has created biotech companies and drug therapies through conversations on X that people have been able to track the whole progress. That's crazy. That is actually crazy. But here we are. We'll see the first IP token based on Aubrey's generated hypothesis, demonstrating BioAgent hypothesis to IP flywheel. Aubrey Chat Access has been rolled out to verified researchers and will eventually go live for public access, with XP being awarded to users who improve the agent. That's pretty powerful. Stay tuned for more bioagents being deployed by BioDAOs and in partnership with top researchers in their field. Absolutely gorgeous to see. I'm going to click on the chat access thing here because I actually didn't chat on that. So I'm not one of the researchers that's allowed to talk to it. Otherwise, I would show that to you. But yeah, then they go on to the bio markets and a lot of other news within the bio protocol ecosystem, which I definitely think you guys should check out. And of course, I will leave all the links to everything in the description of this video. On your way down there, please do hit the thumbs up button on the content. All right, on to the next thing. So I already went over Aubrey de Grey a little bit. Very interesting to see him partaking so heavily in decentralized science with the idea of longevity, which is something that's been really exploding over the last several years. Is just as a bunch of these rich people end up wanting to live forever, they're investing into longevity and creating an entirely new market around longevity research. But I'm certain you guys are familiar with this concept at this point, and it's cool to see people like Aubrey de Grey here getting involved in decentralized science and you being willing to utilize blockchain and a very innovative platform to push things forward. Aubrey is a very smart guy. While I've not talked to him personally, when I was emceeing at the Roast of DeSci from ResearchHub, he was asking a ton of questions in the audience. It was a small-ish event. Not everyone was allowed to go to it. And it was very interesting because I had no idea who he was at the time, but as I'm handing him the mic to talk, I'm like, who is this guy and why is he coming up with some of the most elaborate questions I've heard here tonight? But now, flash forward till now, I understand why. It's because he's a pretty prominent person in the space. Okay. Went over the website, looking good. The white paper here, it's not necessarily worth reading through on the video because I don't know that many of you guys really want me to read you the white paper, but you can look into the architecture overview if that's something that fascinates you, to realize that it's powered by Eliza OS, which is a conversational style AI agent framework. It seems to be powerful enough to allow for this type of activity, which is pretty cool. And it is what all of the bio agents are going to be built on top of. So it's going to be interesting to see if bio is actually able to fulfill their 1 million AI agent goal. I'm sure they will over time. This is just one of those AI agents. We actually already even know what the next one is. If you want to look into it a little bit, it's BiomeAI. This is from Microbiome DAO. This will be the next AI agent on Bio Protocol. At least that's what they are claiming. It should be pretty cool to watch the whole thing. But I really want to get deeper into this flywheel that the Aubrey agent does so that you guys can see it firsthand. So this person here, Barry 654 with 858 followers, tagged Aubrey and said, develop a hypothesis exploring whether pharmacological activation of mitochondrial uncoupling proteins in combination with NAD+ precursors could extend health span by reducing ROS-driven DNA damage and restoring metabolic flexibility. Propose a mechanistic model linking mitochondrial quality control to systematic vascular aging and outline an experiment in mice or organoid models that would test this synergy. Now, I have no idea what this means. I can sit down and dig into it if I want to and figure out all the different pieces, and I'm sure you could. It's pretty simple to figure that stuff out, especially with ChatGPT. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because look at what Aubrey posted. Aubrey went full, I don't even know what to call it, but Aubrey went crazy, explaining everything, answering everything to a T. And based off of the public's perception of this and this getting linked in a lot of different posts here, people clearly resonated with this in a way that means it was probably damn accurate. And then the POI was created from it. The proof of invention was created on chain and minted. So the generation of one of these hypotheses, there you have it. It's right in front of you. And that is crazy. And then it goes on, and the Aubrey agent here on ResearchHub is able to post about it right here, I believe. Actually, I think it was this one. Mitochondrial axis, we've seen NAD decline. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was this one, but I'm sorry if I'm making a mistake. Either way, it's been put on ResearchHub. So now all of a sudden, the agent's trying to raise $50,000 to go get this research actually funded and began, and the flywheel begins. So far, the agent's posted about 3 different studies. None of them have received funding yet, but it's starting. If the market or if the bio ecosystem, the bio DAO market participants choose to fund one of these research studies, then they can. So that's pretty crazy to see. Okay, now for some of the insider information. So Simon here posted, he said he's sharing some alpha from an update bio protocol sent to strategic bio investors yesterday. Beyond the strong AUBRAI performance so far, it's exciting to see how much is being worked on and what's already in the pipeline. So they boasted about some of the stats here with a 220x out of the gate, which was going from 269k FDV to 60 million. Currently speaking, it's sitting here at the 31 million, so it's about half that. 110x is absolutely crazy to see. And now that I'm reading that out loud for a second time, it's pretty much exactly what we just read in the update that Bio posted. I think I'm going to end this video out with a little bit of a thought exercise for you guys, because as we know in crypto, the first week, the first month, the first initial phases of something often has the most trading volume, the most excitement, the most hype, the best performance, blah, 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 right? You guys understand that it's an attention-based economy, so as attention shifts to the next thing, oftentimes things will kind of fade out. Doesn't mean that price always fades out, but it does mean that volume fades out. And where a lot of the money that has been generated from these trading fees to go towards some scientific funding is inevitably going to slowly fade. The first week of trading to generate $120,000 from the trading fees is absolutely astonishing, especially when you consider the size of a lot of the funding that's going on in DeSci. Most of the time these DAOs are funding with the idea of a small VC, where it's $50,000, $100,000, maybe up to $1 million I've seen, right? But most of the time it's pretty modest size funding. And so for this AI agent to generate so much money off of just trading fees is really, really, like, just props to the team for putting this together. I think in a profound way, and I'm very interested to see how things progress as we continue to launch more and more of these AI agents, as we start to see more niche cases get funding through the financial markets. I think that's the whole point of decentralized science. And just like not everyone's going to agree with everything, you're going to see people doubting it, but they're just going to be quiet when it's doing really well, and they'll come out after it stops doing really, really well. But as long as you understand the ethos and the thesis behind the whole thing, you understand that it's going to ebb and flow. It'll do well, and then it'll do bad. Then it'll do really well, and then it'll do bad again. And that's just how markets work. So your time is your most valuable asset. Hopefully this was worth investing it into. Appreciate you guys being here with me, and I'll see you on tomorrow's live stream.